Hi, I'm Derek Whitten and this is Skin Retouching for Beginners. So where I start is I always start with a new layer like this, and in that layer I heal. So always go healing brush. I check my brush settings, I change my spacing to about 33%. I ignore that and then go in and we start clearing up blemishes. The reason I do this is I find it much easier to do it in this part than later on in the process. We just go around the face looking for the most distracting blemishes. In a case like this, the model has actually really good skin. I want to thank Sven Slubbert for his image here. You can check out his work. I'm going to put the link in the description below. So I'm just going around the image looking for minor blemishes that we can take out. Whoops, do that again, there we go. Get that one over there. And just work your way around the face, looking for smaller ones. I always find it easier to do it this way. You can do it in frequency separation on the high layer. We'll be discussing that shortly, but I prefer just getting it out the way now. So stick with me as I go around her face. Just clear out these blemishes. That one, that one, that one. Oops, sampled some bad texture there. Clean it up. I'm just going to blend out the spot a bit. And all I'm doing is small little strokes. And each time you do a stroke, just try resampling a little bit. Otherwise you end up having the same texture across an area and it just looks unnatural. So get this one. I think that's about it. In a case like this, it's rather easy because she has really good skin. So let's start with the next step, which would be frequency separation. I do this by creating a new layer. Okay, wait, let's just check the before and after. See, not much difference, but small changes make big results. Alright, let's do a clone stamp layer, and I'm gonna do 2 duplicate layers of this. So 1, 2, Command J, Control J. I'm gonna name the first one low, because that's gonna be our low frequency. And the next layer we're going to name high. So all we're really doing is separating our high and our low, which is your color and your texture. I'm just grouping these for organizational purposes and naming this one base, because if I mess it up I can just go all the way back to the base. Alright, let's start. So we go to our low layer and we go to filters and Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur. Now what we want to do is sample an area of skin, and we want to just move the slider over until there's no more texture left in the skin. It's still a tiny bit there, a little bit much. Let's go back a tiny bit. That seems about right. So we've literally got no texture and only color left in the skin there. Let's just check in other spots, make sure that there's no texture anywhere else. That'll do. Awesome. Now the next step we're going to do is go to the high layer, put it on, and we're going to go image, apply image. We're going to select our low layer because that's what we would like to subtract from. So leave that. We're going to have a blending mode and subtract. Numbers will always be 2 and 128 on the scale and offset. It's just that's the science behind it. I'll explain this in a later video, the science behind it. We swap that over to linear light in blending mode. If you switch it on and off, you should see no difference whatsoever. Alright, so let's get cracking. I generally like to hide the high layer when doing this because it's just easier to see the colors instead of the texture. So I'm going to go around with my healing brush and I am going to start just blending the colors like this. So I'm looking for tonal differences in the skin. Once again, you do this with small strokes. If you do big strokes, you tend to overdo it. Skin retouching is a finesse, and it does take practice. You will not get this on the first try. Full disclaimer. The more time you spend doing this, the easier it gets. And we're just going to keep going around here, blending, blending, blending. Keep working. So I'm looking for tonal differences between the shadows and the highlights here. If you can see the highlights there, just move in a little bit, see the actual difference. So now what I'm trying to do is just get these to blend a little bit better. So not such a hard transition between the tones. You keep working, small strokes, resample, small strokes, resample. What I like to do is for areas like this, I sample from outside and inside. So from the lighter side and the darker side, just to blend a little bit better in the middle. Just give you a smoother transition between the two. Okay, let's keep this up. Here we're just going to attack the shadows. I'm going to give you another way. If you have hard color transitions that don't really blend too well, we'll get to it now. Another technique you can use, but for now it's doing the job, so I'm not going to bother. Let's keep it going. You can move around the image as you want. I generally pick a section at a time and just work on that. So we have the right side of her face, or camera right side of her face. Try not to bounce around all over the face until I've got one section done complete. Or what I think is complete. I might go back to it later and just compare. So as I said, let's just check how it's looking now. I like it before and after. You can see the difference. We're getting there. It's not 100% done, but we're getting there. Let's zoom out. Always looks weird if you look at it from really close, because it's really close. Whoops, wrong one. Back off. And let's keep going. There's still more to be done. This dark transition needs to come out. You don't want to completely flatten the image. I mean, you still need shape in your image. So let's try not get everything one tone. We're just trying to get the seaming between the tones smoother. So here we go. Move down to the chin. I think I'm done with the cheek, so let's get this transition a little bit smoother here. You can see, whoops. Don't be afraid of your undo. If you've made a mistake, just go back. Keep going, let's get this done. This is a long process, guys. It's not a quick fix. If you want a quick fix, you can go to your app store on your phone. There's an app called Snapchat. That'll sort it out quickly. Now I'm making jokes. Let's just keep going, guys. There's a little bit of a tonal transition here. With that. Let's get this one here. So small strokes, small strokes, small strokes. Just keep going. Resampling the whole time. There we go, I think that's done. Let's move over to this side now. Now this is a bit of a different side because this is where the light came from, so it's quite a bright side. We've got this dark patch here, so let's try get this sorted. Let's get that out. Now I just want to say there are other skin retouching methods which get a little bit more advanced in this, and we'll cover them later on. But for now, if you're still learning frequency separation, this is the first place you can start, and then we'll build you up like we are with the layers. Step back, take a look. Not happy with that. Let's try get these dark patches here. Blend them in better. Still not loving it. Let's go, let's go. Seems to be working. Let's take a look with the... Okay, now I'm going to do that other technique that I mentioned. So what I've done is I've taken my brush, created a new layer, taken my flow down to 2%, and I'm sampling from the lighter area here. All I'm doing is painting it over very slowly at a very low flow, and we're just going to cover up this color transition because it's just too drastic for the healing brush to fix. So resampling, same as we did with the healing brush. I'm just resampling all the colors. So keep it going around, going around. And when doing this, make sure your sample is bigger than 1 pixel. You just doesn't work. You'd ideally work it on a 5 or an 11 pixel. Okay, so we slowly brush it in, build it up like that. Now let's sort this bag out. I'm teasing, she doesn't have bags. Just a shadow, that's all it is. So let's keep going over it until we've got a nice transition into it. There we go. I'm going to try to keep it as natural as possible. Like I said before, we don't want to flatten out the image. Let's get a little bit smaller and just do this. Go, resample. Again, resample. There we go, let's just check it now. Nope, still needs more work. Okay, let's get this blending a little bit better. As you guys go, you'll realize that practice makes perfect, and the first couple of times you're probably going to overwork it. Don't be afraid of it. All you can do is just pull the opacity down of this layer if you have overdone it. If not, then you can just delete it and start again. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but I mean, if you really want to have a good retouch, then that's what we do. Alright, back to the healing brush, and let's sort out these changes. Small changes. Now because the tones are similar, it's definitely going to blend better. Oh, I was on the wrong layer. There we go. Alright, let's keep sampling. Oh, missed this earlier. Let's get this bit. Happy with that. Let's go here to the forehead now. And same as before, we just sample and blend. Small movements, resample. I'm going to say this a lot, but it's honestly the best technique here is to really make small adjustments as you go. Almost done, guys, just stick with me. Let's get that last transition for that side. Sort this out. Now I wouldn't be too worried about that highlight there. It is a natural highlight and you don't want to flatten out the image. just going to get this transition a little bit softer, but I'm not going to completely remove that highlight. So we're 15 minutes in and we're almost done with the healing layer. I know it's taken long, but the more time you spend doing this, the better the results are. Almost done. We've just got this little bit left, and then we can go on to our high layer. Let's just get the shadow. And that's about it, guys, I think. Let me just check. High layer on. I'm happy with that. Now you'll find that when you've done this and you go back and switch your high layer on, you generally get quite a rough texture. But there's the before and after, and you can see the texture of her skin a little bit more clearer here. So what I want to do is just go in. Ooh, I missed this piece. Let's just work that a little bit. Keep going. Okay, I'm happy with that. Take a look here. Can do a little bit more work there. Sometimes you see things when you've got the whole image opposed to the colors, and sometimes you don't. So just once you think you're complete, just go back and double check it. And let's just get this, paint that piece out like we did before. Transition was a bit too harsh for the healing brush. There we go, I'm happy with that. And then we get here, I just want to sort out this shadow a little bit. Now try not to overwork around the mouth, otherwise it looks flat and unnatural. And our end goal is to always keep it looking as natural as possible, just polished. Cool, I think that's it. Let's take a look. Pretty happy with the results there. Alright, let's go take it before and after. You can see the difference. Drastic changes, and all we did was a healing brush on the colors. No, still need this done. Tiny bit too harsh. Let's just blend that in a little bit. I think that's about it. Let's heal it just to blend in these colors again. Cool, I'm pretty happy with that. Before and after, let's just take a look. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, let's look at this texture now. So, like I said, it gets a little bit more prominent when you do this. When you're doing your textures, you want to get your brushes, ooh, wrong channel. So there's a rookie error. Always make sure you're sampling your current layer when doing frequency separation. We're going to make our brush as small as possible, and now we're just going to make minor changes. So any real textural issue that stands out, we're not going to go and take a huge sample area and just change the whole thing. I'm just taking small little texture variations that don't really fit and just moving them out. This is probably nothing to do with the model's skin and everything to do with the lighting. I believe this was shot in natural light, so unless you scrim it, you're not really gonna get the softest light ever. Okay, I'm rather happy with that. Let's just fix this here on the lip. Okay, fix this side. There we go. I think she's looking beautiful there. What about you guys? A little bit more here, here, tiny bit more. So once again, a quick shout out to Sven Slabbert for the image. He's the, call it, owner for the Facebook group Rate My Photo. They're an awesome group of photographers based in South Africa that critique each other's photos. Tend to hurt each other's feelings every now and again, but that's just family, isn't it? This is the before and the after. Quite liking those results. Let's just take another look in here. Whoops. Select the high layer. There we go. Tiny little spots on the forehead. Okay, let's zoom out, take a look at what our skin is looking like. Let's see before and after. And this was completely before the healing and everything, and then your final image. It can still do with a bit of dodge and burn, but we'll do this in another one for this image exactly. I've done 3 other dodge and burn techniques, which you can find in the links below as well. But that's it for me, guys. I want to thank Sven one more time for his image. Go check out his group. They're really awesome. We have fun together, and I hope you learned something. And this is, once again, the before, the after, before, the after. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you don't like it, just thumbs down. Bye.